Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay. Yay! So if it's just the two of us, this will go quick. Did you get the videos watched?
Yes.
Excellent. You rock. I did not anticipate very many people would actually do the work, so I'm grateful. Fair warning, I'll start the class by asking some questions just to see who watched and didn't, so you're cool. So yay. Can you hear me okay? Am I too loud? Am I too okay? Thank you. So the meds I'm on, I have this horrible bitter penicillin taste in my mouth. And it's, yeah, that look, yes, it's so gross. Ah, what is that? Crap's on my tongue. Oh, sorry. uh, so fingers crossed I see y'all on Monday, maybe. Worst case, we do this again. That really would be worst case, because I don't want to do stages of federal. I need a chalkboard for stages of federalism. Be nice to have one today, but screw it. So yeah, well, I clearly will be back before the first ELA, so life is good. That's what matters most. I'm gonna suck on my cough drop and just ignore you. Unless you have questions. Do you have questions?
No, I'm good.
All righty, I'm back to ignoring you. That's nice. Bo, you know I got a camera? Just refusing to respond. I get it. Poor Bo is taking courses with me back through 2020 when we had to do this for every class. He's an old hand at doing Zoom. Which is why I said, fuck you, I'm out of here. I won't brag about him again. I didn't realize it was offensive. I'm sorry. Oh, it returns. Welcome, Miss Lance. She can't even hear me yet. It's still loading. Oh, I can't get over your new haircut. I like it very much. It's just you don't look like you. So yeah, never mind. Lance, did you get my email?
Yep.
So if you hear me having the same issue, it's because Henry was literally right outside the door wailing right as you sent the email. It's like, wow, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So yeah.
Picked her up the whole time.
Oh, I saw pretty cats. I may be a cat person. It's possible. My wife sent an evil email I need to respond to, and yet here I am trying to be ready to start class. For the four of you. Gage, are you there? Top five. Suddenly everything's better.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so Easton's there. Rower just got on. Pruitt. Can y'all like unmute and like turn on cameras and shit?
I thought my camera usually turns on, so I don't know why it wasn't.
That's okay. I see you. I see you. Easton is like, no, I will not.
I don't think my desktop actually has a camera on it.
Well, that's lame. And lame. Just say it.
Yeah.
Oh. See if Mendoza will talk to us. Yeah. Oh, she'll even turn her camera on. Look at that, Easton. One of these is not like the others. So just saying. Not trying to make you feel bad about the fact that you're the only one. But
No, I got you.
well, surely it'll be fixed by next class. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Well, if I decide to use my phone to do this, I'll have a camera, but
That's
I
fine.
prefer to have better quality.
Yeah, that sounds like crap, actually, having to use your phone to do this. Okay, I see Robbie trying to get in.
Hello?
Samuel.
Yes. Hi.
Okay, I literally don't know anyone's first name.
Serrano Griffiths?
Ah, gotcha. Okay, got it. It's like,
Sorry, I don't have a webcam on my computer.
oh my gosh, I've just been torturing Easton over that.
Finally, someone else.
Right, so now they're both of you. I'll throw paper wads at. It'll be fine.
Nice. We can both go sit in the corner together.
Right, with the dunce caps. I don't have those, but if I did, yes. So yeah. Robbie, can you talk to us? It'd be great if you could like show us a pic too, but can you talk to us? My God, he's gonna put the Mona Lisa up. It's like that's not what I meant. Okay. So I started by asking Paulie if he had watched the recorded lectures. Quick poll, have you watched those yet?
I watched them. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Rower, I'm not seeing a head nod from you,
I may have forgot.
but you'll certainly get that done.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. Pruitt, did you respond? He's busy coughing at me. I can cough better than you, trust me.
I nodded my head, yeah.
Okay. Lance,
I just finished it because I forgot last night.
get it.
Ugh.
Get it done, please, sir. Keepo, you're sideways.
No, I said I had watched it.
No, good man. Good man. Oh, I'm only making fun because I actually went through the same process, which is why I just barely made it here on time. Lance, did you say you got it done? Okay. And I can't tell head nods or anything from the non-camera minority.
I watched them.
Okay, just so I'm clear, what's the name of the group that didn't want the Constitution ratified?
The
Anti-federalist.
anti-federalist.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Can you name a prominent anti-federalist?
Oh shit.
Thomas
Nope,
Jefferson.
that's not one of them.
Jefferson.
Jefferson is number one and should always be number one on your list of anti-federalists. Anybody else? Not Paulie, since he's already got his gold star.
Let's see here.
Madison after he betrayed the other guys.
Yeah, but not over the ratification.
Oh, Henry.
Yeah, Patrick Henry is correct. Very good, very good. Yeah, it's going to be Madison, but not until after the Constitution is ratified. And he fights with Hamilton over control of the Federalist Party, and Hamilton kicks him. That's when he joins the Anti-Federalists under Jefferson, just in time for Jefferson to change the name of the party from Anti-Federalists to...
Democratic Republicans.
Oh, yeah! Okay, Serrano, shut up. You gave me enough right answers. You've also got your gold star. So the Democratic Republicans, why are they named the Democratic Republicans?
It's because they believe in power to the people.
That's why they called themselves Republicans. Why did Jefferson then change the name to Democratic-Republicans?
Sounds fancy. I don't know.
False. Besides, you're on hold, sir. I will mute you. So yeah. Anyone else want to try to throw someone there? Not Paulie, not Griffiths. Is it Serrano or Griffiths? I'm not going to do both because I'm lazy.
Serrano's fine. Just Serrano.
Okay.
It's easy. It's the same letter as my first name. So
No, again, I'm just warning you now that I am old and slow and stupid, and I will never get Serrano Griffiths every
No, that's
time.
fine. You don't know how annoying it is going through life with a hyphenated last name. So,
So yeah, Serrano
Serrano's
works.
fine. Yep.
Thank you. So, I'm sorry. Thank you. My sign language sucks too. I'm not good in any language, certainly not English. So moving on. Why did you pay attention? If this was a History 105 class, you would care a whole lot. He wants to support the French Revolution when it happens, and so he changed the name to the Democratic Republicans because it would focus on, in a democracy, who rules.
The people.
Y'all are killing me here. Yes, correct, Serrano. And so he was trying to support the French Revolution, as if that was going to be important in foreign policy at any point in the United States' future. So, yeah. So the who parties are the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. Who's in charge in the beginning? Washington is, for those of you who were unclear, George Washington. Was he elected by the people? The first president?
No.
Yeah,
I don't
no
think
is
he
the
was.
correct answer. Absolutely not. The people were not consulted. They were merely informed that George Washington would be their president. Who got to pick him?
The people at the convention.
What convention?
Oh,
Here's your huge hint. The people have never been allowed to vote for the presidency in the United States of America. Who
The
actually elects the president?
Constitutional Convention?
False.
The elite.
Well, true, but they have a name.
well, it's the Electoral College.
That is the correct answer. Yeah, the Electoral College picked George Washington. And while today, when you vote for Trump or you vote for Biden, you're not actually voting for them. You're voting for electors who have promised, crossed their heart, that that's who they'll vote for. Is there any law that says they actually have to do that?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Have they ever changed their minds?
Yes.
It's called faithless electors. Has that ever changed the outcome of an election?
Probably.
Yes. But do not for one instant believe Washington was elected president because the people of the United States so completely supported him. The people were not even consulted. So Washington becomes the first president. Is he a Federalist or an Anti-Federalist? You can flip a coin if you want.
Yeah.
Anti-federalist.
And you should not go to Vegas.
Yeah. I think he'd be a Federalist just because he accepted the position.
Better than that, who was the chairman of the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia in 1787 that wrote the Constitution? If you guessed George Washington, you would be correct. So was he very clearly on the Federalist side?
Yeah.
He is our only president, though, to claim, I'm not going to join a political party because I think it would be divisive. So officially, he's not on either party, but is his heart clearly on one side?
Yeah.
Okay. So Washington gets in there, and the Federalists are pretty much getting their way. Washington then wins a second term, amazingly. Once again, were the people consulted? No. We're going to have to amend the Constitution over 100 years later to let the people directly elect electors to the Electoral College. So till then, the people are never consulted when we're seeing who's president. So, okay, he's in there a second time. So which party's still winning?
Federalist.
Okay. Who's second president?
John Adams.
Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson is
Oh.
incorrect.
No, that's the third one. That's my bad.
John Adams.
Yes. Be clear, not his son, John Quincy Adams, who will later become president, but it's John Adams. And John Adams is which party?
Federalist.
Yeah, let me help you reason that out if you weren't clear. Is he a rich white guy?
Yes.
Is there a
Yes.
party that would support the power being given to rich white guys?
Yes.
Shocking.
Federalist.
Yeah, oh, look at that. See how you can reason it through yourself? So John Adams gets in there. He's a Federalist. He gets us into our very first undeclared war. Before we ever declare a war, we have our undeclared war with France. To pay for that war, we raise taxes. When people bitch about the taxes being raised, he passes the Alien and Sedition Acts that takes away freedom of speech in the United States of America. Literally, it is against the law to say anything critical about any elected official or any government policy. They will arrest you and throw you in jail. Pretty much isn't that exactly what the Anti-Federalists said? Oh my God, if you adapt this Constitution, if you ratify it, that could happen. You remember them saying that stuff?
Yep.
Yeah. Guess what happened?
Exactly that.
Yeah. Leads to all kinds of issues. There is a rebellion in Pennsylvania called Freeze Rebellion. I know it's spelled Fries, but it was a bunch of Germans. It was pronounced Freeze. And Freeze Rebellion was put down, and we had the U.S. Army shooting American citizens and killing them because those American citizens wanted to have freedom of speech. And the government wouldn't allow that.
What
So,
about the Bill of Rights?
I'm sorry?
What about the Bill of Rights?
I'm sorry?
Oh,
See what I mean? How long do federal judges serve? I'm trying to help you out, Serrano. What's the term of office for federal judges?
is that life?
Yes,
It's life.
it is life. And which party had been in control of nominating judges?
Oh, right, the Federalists.
And only the Federalists. So all the judges in the entire government are Federalists. And the Federalists want this undeclared war with France, and the Federalists want that tax. What are the chances the judges are going to say, you know, you're right, just don't even bother with that?
0.
So the courts just look the other way. Poof. Yeah, again, Alien and Sedition Acts absolutely took away freedom of speech in the whole country. Did people rise up? Yeah. And they were killed for it. So yeah, freedom of speech, that's something we've always had in this country. Not entirely accurate. All that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. Adams gets through close to the end of his first term, and he wants to get reelected. So in 1800, he says, well, I want to be reelected again. Now, on the one hand, that shouldn't be an issue because who's going to vote for him? Who elects presidents?
Electoral college.
Not.
The
The
people.
people.
So he's thinking, yeah. But then the people who were in among the elites are like, dude, you have no idea how much the people hate you. You are so not. We can't put you back in. It will cause the whole union to collapse. So he's like, well, no, okay, we can fix this. So he gets rid of the war with France. Just, you know, he ends that, sends diplomats, they make nice. Okay, so the war with France is over. Since the war with France is over, do I still need the giant tax to pay for the war?
Nope.
So he turns off the direct tax. Okay, when he turns off the direct tax, is everyone angry about the tax now?
No.
So he turns off the Alien and Sedition Acts. And poof, now do you love me?
All it took was need to get reelected. Crazy.
Yeah, it was pure political theatrics. If you're the people, though, how secure do you feel with having your freedom of speech now?
Not very,
Why is that?
because it was taken away on a whim.
Right? I mean, I got Serrano's got it. The rest of you getting this? Okay, so did all the electors tell Adams, cool, dude, now you're fine?
No.
Oh, dude, you are so screwed still. Just because, are they all worried you're going to take away freedom of speech again?
Yes.
So this is where Adams goes into his down and dirty politics mode. Who is the other party's leader? What's the other party opposing the Federalists?
Thomas Jefferson.
And which party?
He's leader of Anti-Federalists.
Not
Federalists.
anymore.
Oh yeah, the
Democratic
Democratic Republicans.
Democratic Republicans. Okay, so Jefferson is running against him, and Jefferson is running on that. I told you they were going to take away the freedom of speech. I warned you not to ratify that Constitution, and you did, and look where we are. Yeah, if you want to have your freedom, you're going to damn well have to trust me, put me in there so I can fix things, because we somehow got stuck with this lame Constitution. Which one are the electors leaning towards?
Jefferson.
Yeah. Now here's where the story gets really cool. We have the election of 1800 between John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, the heads of the opposing political parties. They couldn't be more politically in opposite corners. 25 years earlier, 24 years earlier, they were best friends. I kid you not. What document did they jointly write?
Declaration of Independence.
Confederation.
Not the articles. I heard the right
Oh, the
answer, though.
Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, the Declaration of Independence. They wrote hand in hand along with Ben Franklin, and poof. Again, best friends. Now, any of you have best friends?
Yeah.
Might you, even if you have to hypothetically pretend you have a best friend, and if you had a best friend, might you confide in them stuff that you wouldn't necessarily tell other people?
Yeah.
So Jefferson had confided in Adams that he was not a Christian. He did not believe Christ was divine. He did not believe in any of that. He was, however, what they called at the time a deist. A deist today we think of as agnostic. Did he believe in a God? Sure. Did he think any of the religions got it right? No. You follow?
Mm.
So Jefferson admits that. Fast forward to 1800, Adams is not looking like he's going to win, so Adams exposes Jefferson and says, Jefferson hates Christians. Surely you can't vote for the man who hates Christians. Comes the election. Who do we support more? I hate Christians or I hate freedom?
I hate Christians, probably.
Yeah, Jefferson wins big time. The best part, here's the bottom line, is Jefferson knew something about Adams. Guess what Adams confessed to Jefferson back then, too? He was also a deist. Why didn't Jefferson just say, you too? Maybe it was ethics. Maybe it was a recognition that if he did it, it would sound just like political muckrake. But Jefferson had the exact same charge to levy. He just didn't do it. So everyone is left believing Adams, that good Christian, he let us know to worry about Jefferson.
But I mean, like, in the first place, you can't like confirm just based off what Adams said that he hated Christians, and it was pretty evident that Adams like took people's freedom away. So I feel like that's like a bigger
Well, especially when if you asked Jefferson on the street, are you a Christian? He'd say, of course I am. Because he knew what was the stupid wrong answer.
yeah, right.
It's like today, are you a racist? Raise your hand. I'm not a racist. I'm a white nationalist, but I'm not a racist. Okay. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So we've got that going on. Jefferson comes into office. Who is the only party that has ever been able to appoint judges to the federal district level?
Federalists.
So the night before Jefferson is going to be inaugurated, Adams goes down a list and he fills every open position on every district court in the country with staunch Federalists. He then adds to the list and adds all the people that, we were thinking about adding another seat. Let's just go ahead and do that. And then the ultimate gotcha is he puts all the envelopes on the desk, and the federal government at that point was so small that it was the Secretary of State's job to mail the mail for the U.S. government. So he puts them all on the desk of the incoming Secretary of State. Like, who's going to have to mail these? The Jefferson administration, knowing that they're giving all these positions and power to
The Federalists.
and so he leaves. So Jefferson gets in, he's inaugurated. The first cabinet position he fills is with his protege. And you told me who that was already, the guy that wrote the Constitution, then switched sides.
James
Madison.
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 Madison. And Madison comes in, he's the new Secretary of State, looks at this stack of letters, opens one up, sees what it is, and takes the whole stack over to the fireplace and burns them. Problem solved. You ever been in that position where you were waiting for a letter and you check the mail every day because you know exactly what time the mailman comes in? By God, I want to know the instant it comes in.
Yeah.
Imagine you were waiting for your last job for the rest of your life, a high pay, high power position that once you have it, you're going to keep it forever. You looking for that letter to come? Yeah. One of the guys looking for that was a guy named Marbury. And Marbury, where's his letter? He keeps waiting.
Got thrown in the fire.
Nobody knows that. So
Not coming.
he eventually goes to Madison and he says, dude, where's my appointment? And God love him. How does James Madison respond? Oh, dude, I burned those. That's never happening. And at that point, Marbury then sued Madison, and we get the court case, Marbury versus Madison. Ta-da, first court case. There are only 4, and we got 2 days to cover them. So in Marbury versus Madison, Marbury sues Madison saying, Madison can't just destroy the actions of the previous president. Make sense?
Yeah.
Well, in 1803, the court case is going to go to the Supreme Court. Oh, and I should have asked you another question about watching the recorded lectures, because time stop. When they were writing the Constitution, did they create a system of government with checks and balances for all 3 branches?
No.
No.
No is the correct answer, even though all your high school teachers are going to tell you, well, yes. Which branch lacked any checks?
Judiciary?
That's correct. It was the judicial branch because did the judicial branch have the power of judicial review? Do you know what judicial review is? Because if you don't, I'll tell you. Judicial review is easy. It's the ability of the judicial branch to determine whether actions by legislative branch or executive actions are constitutional and thus enforceable. Because if they are not constitutional, they are unenforceable. You follow that logic?
Yeah.
And what they decided when they were writing the Constitution is the Supreme Court should absolutely not have the power of judicial review. Did they want anyone able to tell the Senate? No.
No.
So, no judicial review in the Constitution. So when this court case arrives on John Marshall's desk, every member of the Supreme Court has been appointed by which party?
Federalist?
And Marbury is?
A Federalist?
Who's going to win? And the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is a guy named John Marshall. And Marshall is a brilliant thinker. Who's going to win, you ask? According to John Marshall? Why, James Madison, of course. The way he writes the opinion is he says, what Madison did is constitutional. The act of the Supreme Court saying that what Madison did is constitutional means suddenly, what does the Supreme Court get to do?
Judicial review?
Yeah, if I can say it is constitutional, what could I see next time?
It isn't.
It isn't.
You
So
get
the
to
Supreme
decide.
Court, well, the Supreme Court gives the Supreme Court the power of judicial review. It is not a constitutional power. So when the Supreme Court gives the Supreme Court judicial review, you would think that the Federalists and Madison would all be like, no, we can't allow that, except what the Supreme Court say wins.
Madison. So,
Ah, so are you gonna challenge the fact that you won? Ah! Oh, I so kicked your ass. So yeah, they sacrificed Marbury in the game, but in doing so, they created those three checks and balances, so the Supreme Court would have the power of judicial review. Today, it's not just the Supreme Court. Every level of court has judicial review. We focus on the Supreme Court because every lower court, when they make a decision, it can be appealed to the next higher court. But every court has the ability to declare something unconstitutional and thus unenforceable. Let me give you an example from, say, the news yesterday. When the District Court of DC said Donald Trump does not have immunity, what does that mean?
That he can be charged for his crimes.
While president, right?
Yes.
But does he have to accept that?
No, he can appeal
He has until Monday to appeal that decision to,
the Supreme Court.
because that's the only court higher than the district court. Now, the Supreme Court may issue a writ of certiorari, in which case they will review the decision. They also may choose not to do so, and if they don't choose to hear the case, what does that mean?
The ruling stands and
Exactly.
he doesn't have immunity.
That's exactly how it works. If he has not filed an appeal by Monday, he has no immunity. You follow how this works?
Yeah.
And this is all created by Marbury versus Madison. By the way, and this part is so head scratcher, part of the legal argument he created to try to justify his immunity, he somehow tied Marbury versus Madison into his argument. I got nothing, but hopefully, if you know what Marbury versus Madison said, you should also be a little confused by that attempt, because did they say anything about immunity or any of that nonsense?
No.
No. And according to the Constitution, the president, specifically the president's job, is to see that the laws are faithfully executed. So would it make sense for the chief executive, whose job is to ensure that the laws are faithfully executed, to get to break all the laws?
No.
And that was the district court's reasoning. Does that make sense? Okay. So there's your current events for the day. Yay! I don't need you to know the whole story. When I was a student, if I knew the whole story behind a court case, it helped me remember the court cases and differentiate between them. What I do need you to know is when I say Marbury versus Madison, what should you instantly think is created by that?
Judicial review.
That makes sense in your heads?
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on. Sorry. And this is where I wish I had a chalkboard today. So when we're creating this government, we don't have much experience being a government, right? We haven't been in a government for 30 years. So legal scholars are trying to figure it all out. And they divided constitutional powers into three groups, different kinds of constitutional powers. The first kind were called enumerated. I would write this down. What are the enumerated powers? What does that word sound like it is? I'm going to call him Lance because she's muted.
Numbered. It's the powers that are explicitly listed to the federal or lower government.
Oh my God, not just the right answer, but the perfect answer. Gold star, man. Feel free, pet a cat. Yeah, could you repeat that? Because it was exactly right. I mean, perfectly right, like textbook right. Are you reading the textbook? So Serrano needs to know that again. You can leave yourself unmuted. It's okay.
Numbered powers that are explicitly listed to the federal or lower governments.
Typically, we don't say the or lower. If the feds choose to do that, but generally, it's the feds only. What's an example? Coin money. Do we let states coin money anymore?
No.
Who's exclusively in charge of coining money?
The feds.
The feds. Congress shall authorize the coining of money. Okay. Take that, Massachusetts and Rhode Island, you suckers.
I never liked them anyways.
Remember the money wars? Red and blue currency and all that nonsense. So yeah. So enumerated go to the feds. The second type of power is called concurrent. Okay, Lance got her special golden star for this moment. You stay muted. Who else? Do you really want me to call on people? No one wants to volunteer. But the only one I'm not going to call on is Polly or Serrano because they're not muted. Really? I'm working my way across. Mendoza, I haven't called on you in a while. Help me out. What's concurrent?
Isn't it where the national and state governments can both regulate activity?
That's exactly it. To simplify it, it's something that the feds and the states can both do. So if it's feds only, it's
Enumerated,
and if it's the feds and the state governments, it's
concurrent.
an example of concurrent taxes. Does the federal government get to tax people?
Yes.
Okay, nod your heads with me. Does the state get to tax people?
Yes.
Do local governments, as agents of the state, get to tax people?
Yes.
That's clearly meaning taxation is a concurrent power. Make sense? Okay. So enumerated, it means numbered, exactly what Lance said. That was the list that was explicitly written into the Constitution. States can't coin money, damn it. So the federal only powers are the ones that are explicitly listed in the Constitution and given only to the feds. Then there are another set of powers that are given to the feds and the states, right? The concurrent ones. Okay. The next kind of power was based on the 10th Amendment to the Constitution. So it doesn't even exist in the Constitution. It's in the Bill of Rights. Do you know, I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version of Article 10, the 10th Amendment, I apologize. All the powers not herein granted to the federal government are reserved for the people. And when they said the people, what level of government are we talking about?
State or local.
Right, right. And so the idea was that if the power was in the Constitution and explicitly given to the feds get it, period. If it was given to the states and the feds, okay. But if it's not on that list at all, who gets total control of it?
State and local, and the feds can't use it.
Well, the states mostly, because local government in the United States system of government, local government exists at the whim of the state government. I was not kidding when I said local government is the agent of the state, because states can abolish local governments or recognize local governments. They don't have to do a darn thing. Local governments, again, exist purely at the discretion of state governments in our system of government. State governments have total control over local governments if they so desire. So we're talking state. What does that mean? Well, as technology advances, what does the federal government get to say about, say, regulating air traffic?
Nothing.
Because
it didn't exist back then.
And therefore it was not written in the Constitution. Ha! What do the feds get to say about immigration? Everything. That's an enumerated power. Texas just doesn't seem to understand that right now. There's your local government or local issues. So yeah. Are you getting the idea between these different kinds of powers? A better example might be drinking age. Do the feds get to say the national drinking age will be 21?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Drinking age is entirely left to the discretion of the states, and most states leave it entirely to the discretion of local governments. What about speed limits?
Also state power.
That makes sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. What about running elections?
Probably federal.
Aren't
I
those
guess.
controlled by the? Aren't they controlled by the state?
Doesn't it depend on what level the election is in?
No. It would make more sense if it did. Now we'll talk about the exceptions to this rule once we get to the Voters' Rights Act of 1965. But until then, that's the states, which is why we have this crazy situation going on in Nevada. Did you pay attention to what's going on?
Haven't seen.
Nevada has a primary and a caucus.
Mm-hmm.
However, anyone running in the primary is not allowed to be in the caucus. However, whoever registered for the primary cannot be listed or voted for in the caucus. So Haley did what the law said she was required to do, which was run in the primary all by herself. And Donald Trump, being Trump, refused to do what the law said he was supposed to do, and he ran
In the caucus.
in the caucus and won 27 votes. Boom. Because why is it set up like this? Because it's moronic. For a primary, why would you have a primary election and a caucus? Which one is supposed to nominate potential candidates?
Primary.
It's a trick question. Which is why you generally have one or the other, unless you're Nevada. So, yeah. Does that mean the states can have a clusterfuck if they so choose? Yep. This makes sense? And it's going to say that wait till 1965. The law that's going to change that is the Voters' Rights Act. But we'll talk about that when we get there, which will be near the end of the semester. So, all that making sense?
So what's the third?
They're called
constitutional power?
reserved powers because it comes
Reserved.
straight out of the language from the 10th Amendment. These powers are reserved for the states and people of the United States. So do you have those four or those three in your head?
Yes.
I
Okay.
had a question though.
Oh, sure.
Do implied powers fall into enumerated, or are they just kind of like a subcategory?
We haven't invented those yet. I'm trying to get there. Quit being so
Okay,
far
sorry.
ahead. You've been doing the reading. You stop that. I'm trying to get there, got caught up with you. Go back to you can be muted. No, we're going to get there. You are ahead of us. We will catch up with you. No one had ever tried using capitalism and a government before, because capitalism itself wasn't invented until 1776. We had a guy named Alexander Hamilton who was pretty bright, who came up with how can we make capitalism work for us, because I believe this is the best economic system we can possibly have. And Hamilton creates these things called the four reports, where he lays out, here's how you make capitalism work. You have to have these four things in place. The fourth one, you have to have banks. And you have to have banks because the amount of money in the economy directly affects how much money is being spent and how big the economy can get. The beauty of banks is they automatically invent money out of thin air. That's kind of their purpose. If you want to look it up, it's called the multiplier effect. We'll cover that later. So you got to have banks. Well, who wants this capitalism thing that we're deciding to adopt as a country to work? Does the federal government want this to work?
Yes.
So are the feds going to create the National Bank of the United States in an effort to ensure we have banks?
Of course.
And which states do they want to see be successful?
All of them.
Right. So where are they going to put branches of this U.S. National Bank?
Every state.
Absolutely. Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. At the same time, When Hamilton publishes his 4 reports, can the state governments all read it too?
Mhm.
Do they want to have healthy economies?
Yep.
What would they need to do?
Make their own banks.
That's exactly what happened. So we literally in Baltimore, Maryland, had the Bank of the United States, Canaccord diagonally across the street from the Bank of Maryland. Direct competition.
And you decide which one you use.
Well, that's where we're going next. Do most people, I don't know, in the 1820s, think of themselves as Americans?
No, they
No.
probably think of themselves as a state that they're in.
That's exactly right. Remember, we were very recently all different countries. And now that we've slapped we're all one country, did we suddenly change the way we were thinking?
No.
In fact, whenever anyone talks about the United States before the Civil War, it's called antebellum, before the war. Whenever they do that, they always refer to the United States in plural. They'll say the United States are doing this, the United States are doing that, because there was a recognition that they generally operated individually as a bunch of different countries. Even though the Constitution was trying very hard to turn them into one. Only after the Civil War, and we finally squashed the notion that maybe these are individual countries and they get to join and leave if they feel like it. States are never allowed to secede. That was decided in 1869 in court case Texas versus White. Feel free to look it up. Again, Greg Abbott in Texas needs that. So, yeah. And it's only after that that we start calling the United States is going to do this. The United States is, and the recognition that we start thinking about ourselves as one country instead of all these others. There wouldn't have been a civil war if people's loyalty was not to their state to a much greater extent than it was to their country. Now, was it throughout the whole country? No, because in the North was the loyalty generally higher to the country. But across the South was their loyalty to their individual states. So if the state decided to secede, I should join up and help defend the state. That makes sense? Okay. So which bank do you suppose people are going to?
Probably their state bank.
Make sense? Okay. Rower, your name is not Rower. You're going to have to unmute. His name is McCulloch. MC, little c, big C, ULLOCH. Now, Mr. McCulloch is the bank manager of the Bank of Maryland. I lied. He's the bank manager of the Bank of the United States. Sorry. Did I mention I have brain fog? So, oh, yeah, just go ahead and heave in logs. So, yeah. I already picked on Mendoza. Oh. People, I haven't picked on you yet. I'm sorry. We'll fix that. Her name is Mr. McCulloch. And she is the bank manager of the U.S. Bank. Make sense? Everyone understand the scenario? So Quinn, congratulations. I don't even know your name, but you're the bank manager of the Bank of Maryland. If you each set your price point for loans at 5%, where's everyone going to go?
Bank of Maryland.
Bank of Maryland.
Bank of Maryland.
Make sense? So Marvel, I'm sorry, I apologize. What's the only way you're going to get more people to come to your bank?
Lowering my price point of loans. Like
let's redesign how you answered that, because you're close but not spot on. You want the price point to be lower than Quinn's, right? Oh, damn it, than Pruitt's. But is the only way to achieve that you lowering your rate?
No.
Because wouldn't it work the same way if he simply raised his rate?
Yes.
So all about solutions. So Mr. Pruitt, Ms. Tipo would really, I'm sorry, Mr. McCulloch would dearly love it if you would just raise your loan rate price point to like 8%. Could you just do that for us?
Why would I do that?
Well, we're respectfully asking you to do that.
But are you giving me a reason to actually do it?
I'm respectfully asking you to.
Then no.
Interestingly, that's almost exactly how it worked, you jerk. So, Congress has the power to control taxation. Remember that? So, Congress simply passed a law saying every state bank has to pay an additional 3% in tax to the federal government every time they make a personal loan. Ta-da! What just happened to all of your personal loan rates there, Pruitt?
I have to put them up 3%, otherwise I'm losing.
Right. So what does that make your loan rate?
8%.
Oh, look at that. McCulloch, what's happening? Are you suddenly saying business?
Yep.
All these people are like, no, I love my state forever. 3% more, I'm going to the federal bank. So yeah. Here's the really cool part. How did the feds do that to you, Pruitt?
Damn it. I mean,
Well, what did they do to your state that made you have to charge more?
they put an extra tax on it.
Huh. Because taxation is what kind of power?
Enumerated
Nope.
or concurrent.
Because it's concurrent, who can do taxation?
Oh wait, states can do it too.
Oh, look at that! And so, Pruitt then tells, I'm sorry, Maryland, we have an issue. Could we please tax the feds 4% on all of their personal loans?
Like the rates are going up.
Well, and it's just them messing with each other. But that letter went to Mr. McCulloch, the bank manager, and McCulloch said, how dare the state of Maryland attempt to tax the United States of America? Grr, I will not pay. And we get the court case, McCulloch versus Maryland. In 1819, this will go to the Supreme Court. John Marshall is still the friggin' Supreme Court Chief Justice. Remember 1803? Same guy. So Marshall is in there, and he's looking at this, and the state of Maryland is giddy. They cannot wait to get this before the Supreme Court. And the reason is because, let's go through these powers. Do you see the word bank anywhere in the Constitution?
No.
Huh. So is it going to be one of the enumerated powers?
No.
No.
Huh. Well, is it concurrent that states and the feds can do it?
Oh.
Yep.
Huh. So mutually exclusive with that, everything else must be
Preserved.
And that means who's allowed to have banks?
Just the states.
Neither. You're going to have to close up shop, McCulloch. And this went to John Marshall. And so John Marshall's like, yeah, I see the logic you're using. He's a federalist. How do federalists feel about taking away power from the central government?
They don't like it.
What do they want to see happen?
Like big gov.
Right, unitary power is what they want to achieve. So is Marshall even remotely interested in taking the power to run banks away from the feds?
Nope.
No.
Okay. What's the constitutional logic tell us?
That they should take
But
away
they
the
should
power.
have
He doesn't really have a choice, right?
Mhm.
And this is where Lance comes in with her prescient. She should make money looking at a crystal ball, knowing the future like this. Because this is where they're like, yeah, but why do we have a government?
The tax.
No, what does the Constitution say about why do we have a government? It's like the first sentence. Constitution. Do we want to promote the general welfare, among other things? Would having a government improve the general welfare? Probably. Would having a bank improve the general welfare? Yes. Could we conceivably think of a state that would not operate a bank? Yeah. So the only people who could step in to ensure that the general welfare was being protected for those people would be
The federal government.
the federal government. And then he used a phrase, a tiny little phrase that Alexander Hamilton had tucked away just for this purpose. It's called the necessary and proper clause. And it says the federal government can do anything necessary and proper to accomplish the goals for it set by the Constitution. Out of that, we create what Lance already named for us, a fourth kind of constitutional power called implied. Implied powers are not written into the Constitution. They're just kind of something that's implied by the Constitution. When we read it, we think, yeah. So what can the feds do if they think they're going to improve the general welfare?
Anything.
Whatever it takes to improve the general welfare.
Yeah, this is the crazy part of implied powers. There isn't a limit. Gosh, the example I like to use is if I say, Mendoza, I want you to control access to the class, assuming we're ever back in the classroom. So she gives people passwords, and you have to tell her the password before she lets you in. Could you be like, oh, okay, she's controlling access. Yeah.
Mhm.
What if I tell her, no, that's fine. So she gets a gun, brings a gun in, and starts shooting people if they don't tell her the password instantly. Is she controlling access through the door to the classroom?
Yeah.
So the federal government could argue that's perfectly legal and justified. Implied powers. What's the limit?
There isn't one.
That's kind of scary. And we're going to create this so that we can say McCulloch gets to win. Can the federal government have banks? But remember, it's John Marshall, and so is he going to use that precedent and run with it?
Yeah.
Expand federal power immensely.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense? Okay. Thank you so much. You guys get out of here. I'll see you again on Friday, just like this. If you see other people from the class, remind that we had class. Yeah, fair enough. Get out of here. Have good days.
Yeah.
Bye.
Sorry about that, Pierce. When you were
Oh,
using it as an
no.
example.
I used harsh language regarding you. It's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, he bailed on me right then. I'm sure that was an accident.
It was a great time for my computer today.
Oh, well, all I hear is excuses. You're fine, dude. I'll see you on Friday.
See you Friday. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Okay.